What is Trivy?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy is an open-source vulnerability scanner for Docker images, file systems, and Git repositories, designed to detect vulnerabilities. What types of vulnerabilities does Trivy scan for?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy scans for OS vulnerabilities, software vulnerabilities, configuration issues, and misconfigurations in containers and IAC tools. How does Trivy work?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy works by downloading vulnerability databases and scanning files, Docker images, or repositories for known security vulnerabilities. What are the primary use cases for Trivy?
3, 2, 1, 0.
The primary use cases include scanning Docker images, scanning file systems and directories, Git repositories, and Kubernetes resources. How do you scan a Docker image with Trivy?
3, 2, 1, 0.
You can scan a Docker image using the command Trivy image less than image underscore name greater than. Can Trivy be integrated into CI/CD pipelines?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can be integrated into CI/CD pipelines to automate vulnerability scanning as part of the build or deployment process. What database does Trivy use?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy uses a vulnerability database provided by the official Trivy repository, including data from various security advisories and sources. What is the purpose of Trivy in a DevSecOps environment?
3, 2, 1, 0.
In a DevSecOps environment, Trivy is used to ensure secure code and infrastructure by detecting vulnerabilities early in the development cycle. How often should you update Trivy databases?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy's vulnerability database should be updated frequently, usually before each scan, using the command Trivy download DB only. Can Trivy scan infrastructure as code, IAC?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can scan IAC files such as Terraform and CloudFormation for misconfigurations and security issues. What formats does Trivy support for reports?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy supports several formats for scan reports, including JSON, table, template, and SPDX formats, for easier integration and readability. What is Trivy's misconfiguration scanner?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy's misconfiguration scanner checks for security-related issues in configurations of Kubernetes, Docker, and Terraform files. Can Trivy scan programming language-specific vulnerabilities?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can scan for vulnerabilities in application dependencies, such as libraries in Python, Ruby, Go, and Node.js projects. What is the advantage of using Trivy over other vulnerability scanners?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy is lightweight, fast, and provides out-of-the-box scanning for multiple resources like Docker images, file systems, and Git repositories. Can Trivy scan file systems or local directories?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. You can scan file systems and directories using the command Trivy fs directory _path greater than. How does Trivy handle false positives?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy allows you to ignore specific vulnerabilities by using an ignore file or specifying vulnerabilities that should be skipped in a scan. What languages and platforms does Trivy support?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy supports scanning of applications written in various languages: Java, Python, Go, etc., and platforms like Linux-based Docker images. Can Trivy be used for runtime protection?
3, 2, 1, 0.
No. Trivy is primarily a static analysis tool and doesn't provide runtime protection. Runtime security can be managed by tools like Aqua. How does Trivy differ from Claire or Anchor?
3, 2, 1, 0.
While Claire and Anchor are designed for more complex enterprise-grade environments, Trivy is more user-friendly and faster for developers. Can Trivy be used in Kubernetes clusters?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy has Kubernetes integration, allowing it to scan Kubernetes clusters for vulnerabilities in running pods and configuration issues. How do you exclude specific files or directories during a Trivy scan?
3, 2, 1, 0.
You can exclude files or directories from the scan using the skip DIRs or skip files options. How can you filter vulnerabilities in Trivy by severity level?
3, 2, 1, 0.
You can filter vulnerabilities by severity using the severity option, specifying levels like critical, high, medium, or low. How do you run Trivy in server client mode?
3, 2, 1, 0.
To run in server client mode, start Trivy in server mode with Trivy server and connect clients to it using the Trivy client command. How can Trivy's cache be utilized effectively?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy uses a local cache to store vulnerability data, reducing scan time. You can use cache_dir to specify a custom cache location. What are the benefits of Trivy's offline mode?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy's offline mode allows scanning without internet access by using a pre-downloaded database and enabling offline scan in your command. How does Trivy handle rate limiting when downloading the vulnerability database?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy automatically manages rate limiting scenarios when fetching databases from external sources, ensuring consistent performance. How do you scan a public GitHub repository with Trivy?
3, 2, 1, 0.
To scan a GitHub repository for vulnerabilities, use Trivy repo _repo_URL greater than. This checks the repository for known security vulnerabilities. What is Trivy's light mode?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy's light mode reduces the size of vulnerability databases downloaded during scans, making it faster but may exclude some detailed data. How does Trivy handle scanning for zero-day vulnerabilities?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy primarily scans for known vulnerabilities using its database. So zero-day vulnerabilities are detected through regular updates of the database. What is the importance of Trivy's vuln type flag?
3, 2, 1, 0.
The vuln type flag lets you specify the type of vulnerability to scan, such as OS or application vulnerabilities, to refine scan results. Can Trivy scan for vulnerabilities in Alpine-based Docker images?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy supports scanning Alpine-based images for vulnerabilities using its dedicated vulnerability database for Alpine distributions. How do you scan a container image stored in a private registry?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Use username and password options to authenticate to private registries and scan Docker images stored there with Trivy. Can Trivy detect vulnerabilities in proprietary software?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy primarily scans for vulnerabilities in open-source software, but it may detect vulnerabilities in proprietary software with known issues. How does Trivy handle scanning large Docker images?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy uses an efficient scanning mechanism and local caching to reduce scan times for large Docker images. Can Trivy be used to scan Amazon Elastic Container Registry (ECR) images?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can scan images stored in Amazon ECR by authenticating with AWS credentials and scanning the images. What exit codes does Trivy use, and how can they be helpful?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy uses exit codes to indicate scan results, such as 0, no vulnerabilities, or 1, vulnerabilities found, which are useful for CI/CD integration. How can you limit the number of results displayed in Trivy's output?
3, 2, 1, 0.
You can limit the output by specifying severity levels or using the ignore unfixed flag to ignore issues without fixes. What tools can Trivy integrate with for enhanced reporting?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy integrates with several tools, such as Aqua Security's Enterprise Platform, GitHub Actions, and Jenkins for enhanced reporting features. What are the key advantages of Trivy for developers?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy is lightweight, easy to use, fast, and integrates well into existing development workflows, helping developers catch vulnerabilities early. Can Trivy scan container images stored in Docker Hub?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can scan container images in Docker Hub by simply pulling the image or scanning it directly. By specifying the image name. How can you use Trivy with GitLab CI pipelines?
3, 2, 1, 0.
You can integrate Trivy with GitLab CI pipelines by adding a GitLab CI.yml configuration file to run scans on Docker images or repositories during the CI process. Can Trivy scan Helm charts?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can scan Helm charts for vulnerabilities and misconfigurations in Kubernetes manifests and configuration files. How can Trivy be used to scan custom binary files?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy allows scanning of custom binary files using the input option, which can analyze non-standard files for vulnerabilities. Can Trivy scan AWS Lambda functions?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy supports scanning AWS Lambda functions to identify vulnerabilities in their code and dependencies. How do you use Trivy to scan for vulnerabilities in Go projects?
3, 2, 1, 0.
You can scan Go projects using the command Trivy fs on the directory containing Go modules to detect vulnerabilities in the dependencies. How does Trivy handle vulnerability patch statuses?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy distinguishes between fixed and unfixed vulnerabilities, allowing users to filter out unfixed issues with the Ignore Unfixed flag. Can Trivy detect vulnerabilities in base images?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can scan Docker base images for vulnerabilities and can identify risks in widely used base images like Ubuntu, Debian, and Alpine. How can you schedule periodic scans using Trivy?
3, 2, 1, 0.
You can automate periodic scans by scheduling cron jobs or integrating Trivy scans into CI/CD pipelines with scheduled triggers. What is the difference between Trivy's file system scan and container image scan?
3, 2, 1, 0.
The file system scan, Trivy FS, is used for scanning local directories and files, while the container image scan, Trivy image, is for Docker images. How do you run Trivy in a Kubernetes pod?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy can be run as a Kubernetes pod by using a containerized version of Trivy that scans other containers or resources in the same cluster. How can Trivy help with SBOM, software bill of materials, generation?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy can generate SBOMs in SPDX or Cyclone DX formats to provide a detailed list of dependencies and software in scanned images. What is Trivy's diff mode?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy's diff mode allows you to compare scan results between two versions of a Docker image or repository to identify newly introduced vulnerabilities. How does Trivy handle multi-architecture Docker images?
3,
Trivy is able to scan multi-architecture Docker images, ensuring that vulnerabilities are detected across different architectures such as ARM and x86. How can you scan a remote file system using Trivy?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy does not directly support remote file system scanning, but you can sync remote files locally and then use Trivy FS to scan the local copy. Can Trivy be used to scan for vulnerabilities in private GitHub repositories?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can scan private GitHub repositories by authenticating with a personal access token using the token option. How do you scan multiple Docker images in parallel using Trivy?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy does not natively support parallel scanning of multiple images, but you can use parallelization tools like GNU Parallel or shell scripts to achieve this. How does Trivy handle scanning for outdated dependencies?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy detects vulnerabilities in outdated dependencies and provides recommendations for upgrading to secure versions. Can you run Trivy scans on Windows systems?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can run on Windows systems via Docker or by using Windows Subsystem for Linux. WSL for local scans and vulnerability detection. How does Trivy handle scanning for vulnerabilities in compiled binaries?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy supports scanning compiled binaries by identifying vulnerabilities in the libraries used during the compilation process. Can Trivy be used with OpenShift clusters?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can scan OpenShift clusters by scanning the container images and Kubernetes resources running in the OpenShift environment. What happens if Trivy cannot access the vulnerability database?
3, 2, 1, 0.
If Trivy cannot access the vulnerability database, it will fail to perform a vulnerability scan but can still scan local files for misconfigurations. How can Trivy be used to improve software supply chain security?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy helps identify vulnerabilities in container images, dependencies, and configurations, thus securing the software supply chain against risks. What is the repository scanner in Trivy?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy's repository scanner scans GitHub and other repositories for known vulnerabilities in code, dependencies and package managers. How does Trivy handle unsupported operating systems or software?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy may not support all OS or software distributions, but it will attempt to scan the components it recognizes, and unsupported elements will be skipped. What is Trivy's DB repository feature?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy's DB repository feature allows users to configure a custom vulnerability database repository by pointing to an alternative URL. Can Trivy scan remote container registries?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can scan images from remote container registries like Docker Hub, Amazon ECR, Google Container Registry, GCR, and others. How does Trivy manage the scanning of large repositories?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy efficiently handles large repositories by leveraging local caching, reducing redundant network operations, and speeding up scans. What happens if Trivy encounters an unknown package manager during a scan?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy skips scanning the unknown package manager and continues scanning recognized components without disrupting the process. Can Trivy be used for compliance scanning, e.g., SIS benchmarks?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy has built-in compliance scanning capabilities for Kubernetes and container configurations, based on industry standards like SIS benchmarks. How does Trivy handle scanning for malware?
3, 2, 1, 0.
While Trivy focuses on vulnerability scanning, it can identify certain types of malicious code or scripts embedded in files through signatures. How can Trivy scans be customized for specific environments?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy allows customization through options like severity filtering, excluding directories, setting configuration paths, and customizing vulnerability databases. How do you analyze container runtime security using Trivy?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Although Trivy focuses on static analysis, runtime security analysis can be done by using it with runtime security tools like Falco or Aqua. Security's runtime protection features. Can Trivy scan cloud infrastructure directly, e.g., AWS resources?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy does not scan cloud infrastructure directly, but it can scan infrastructure as code, IAC, files and cloud resources, container images for misconfigurations and vulnerabilities. How does Trivy handle proprietary or third-party vulnerability data sources?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy's default database includes open-source vulnerabilities, but it can be extended with custom vulnerability databases if proprietary sources are available. Can Trivy scan for container image licenses?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can identify and report software licenses within container images, helping developers track licensing issues. How can Trivy detect configuration drift in infrastructure?
3, 2, 1, 0.
By scanning configurations regularly, Trivy can help detect drift from the intended state by identifying new vulnerabilities or misconfigurations. Can Trivy be integrated with AWS code pipeline?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can be integrated with AWS code pipeline to automate container and IAC vulnerability scans as part of the deployment process. What are Trivy's limitations when scanning large monolithic applications?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy may struggle with deeply nested dependencies or custom-built software that is not covered by common package managers, requiring additional manual checks. How does Trivy handle scanning Node.js projects?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy scans Node.js projects by inspecting the package lock, JSON or yarn lock files for known vulnerabilities in the listed dependencies. Can Trivy be used to scan Python virtual environments?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can scan Python virtual environments by analyzing requirements.txt or pip file lock files for vulnerabilities in Python packages. What is the exit code option in Trivy, and how does it help in CI/CD?
3, 2, 1, 0.
The exit code option allows you to set custom exit codes based on scan results, enabling automatic failure of builds when vulnerabilities are found. How does Trivy handle scanning Rust projects?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy scans Rust projects by analyzing the cargo lock file, detecting vulnerabilities in Rust dependencies. Can Trivy be used to scan multiple vulnerability databases simultaneously?
3, 2, 1, 0.
No. Trivy uses a single, consolidated vulnerability database, but it allows customization to add your own database if necessary. How does Trivy handle vulnerability disclosure timelines?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy regularly updates its vulnerability database from publicly disclosed sources, and timelines vary based on the data source's update frequency. Can Trivy be used to scan macOS applications?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can be used to scan macOS applications through filesystem scanning, although its primary focus is on container images and packages. How does Trivy handle scanning large monorepos?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy efficiently scans large monorepos by focusing on specific directories or files, using caching mechanisms to optimize performance. Can Trivy scan for vulnerabilities in language-agnostic projects?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can scan language-agnostic projects, especially when they rely on OS-level dependencies or contain configuration files for Docker or Kubernetes. How does Trivy ensure that vulnerabilities are up to date?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy automatically updates its vulnerability database before each scan, but you can disable this with the skip update option. What is the difference between Trivy FS and Trivy config commands?
3, 2, 1, 0.
The Trivy FS command scans file systems for vulnerabilities in applications and dependencies, while Trivy config focuses on scanning configuration files for misconfigurations. How can you improve Trivy scan performance?
3, 2, 1, 0.
You can improve performance by using the skip update option to avoid database refreshes, leveraging caching, and scanning only specific layers or directories. Can Trivy scan Red Hat UBI, Universal Base Image, containers?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy supports scanning Red Hat UBI containers for vulnerabilities using its vulnerability database. How can Trivy handle scanning of remote Git repositories?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy can scan remote Git repositories by using the Trivy repo _repo_URL greater than command to inspect the code for vulnerabilities. How does Trivy handle CVE, common vulnerabilities and exposures, scoring?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy pulls CVE data from upstream sources like NVD and Red Hat, and it assigns severity scores based on those sources' CVSS ratings. How do you configure Trivy to ignore certain vulnerabilities during a scan?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Use the Ignore File option to specify a file that lists vulnerabilities to be ignored during the scan. Can Trivy detect outdated libraries and dependencies in Java projects?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can scan Java projects by inspecting the pom.xml or build Gradle files to find outdated or vulnerable libraries. Can Trivy scan Docker Compose files for misconfigurations?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can scan Docker Compose files using the Trivy config command, which checks the configuration for best practices and misconfigurations. How does Trivy handle private package registries?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy can authenticate with private registries by using credentials passed via command line options or environment variables to scan for vulnerabilities. Can Trivy scan binary files created from Go applications?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can scan Go binaries by inspecting dependencies linked within the compiled binary for known vulnerabilities. How does Trivy handle scanning Debian-based container images?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy pulls vulnerability data from Debian security advisories and its vulnerability database to detect issues in Debian-based images. Can Trivy scan for secrets in container images?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can scan for hard-coded secrets in container images by identifying sensitive information such as API keys or passwords. How can Trivy be used with Jenkins pipelines?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy can be integrated into Jenkins pipelines using shell commands in Jenkins files, allowing automated vulnerability scans during CI builds. Does Trivy support scanning for vulnerabilities in custom-built Linux distributions?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. As long as the custom-built distribution shares packages with known supported OS families like Ubuntu or Alpine. How does Trivy handle misconfiguration scanning in Terraform files?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy scans Terraform files for misconfigurations using built-in policies aligned with best practices for cloud infrastructure security. What is Trivy's behavior when a scan returns a large number of vulnerabilities?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy reports all vulnerabilities but allows filtering by severity, type, or age to prioritize fixing critical issues first. How can Trivy be used to enforce security gates in a CI/CD pipeline?
3, 2, 1, 0.
By setting up failure conditions for vulnerabilities above a certain severity using the exit code flag, you can enforce security gates that prevent deployment if issues are found. Can Trivy scan Windows container images?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can scan Windows container images hosted on Docker registries or local systems, identifying vulnerabilities in Windows components. How does Trivy support scanning of Red Hat-based systems?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy pulls data from the Red Hat OVAL database to detect vulnerabilities in packages installed on Red Hat-based systems or images. What role does Trivy play in DevSecOps workflows?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy integrates security checks into DevOps workflows by automating vulnerability scans in container images, code repositories, and infrastructure configurations. Can Trivy be used to scan offline environments?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. You can download Trivy's vulnerability database manually and configure Trivy to use it in an air-gapped or offline environment. Does Trivy support scanning of Node.js containers using Yarn?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy supports scanning of Node.js containers that use Yarn, detecting vulnerabilities in dependencies listed in Yarn lock. How can you control the output format of Trivy scans?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy supports multiple output formats such as JSON, table, and SPDX, allowing customization for integration with other tools. How does Trivy help with multi-stage Docker builds?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy scans the final stage of multi-stage Docker builds for vulnerabilities, allowing developers to focus on the smallest, most secure base image. Can Trivy be used to scan for outdated versions of dependencies?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can identify outdated dependencies and suggest updates when vulnerabilities are detected in older package versions. How does Trivy handle scanning for Golang binaries?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy scans Golang binaries for vulnerabilities in the libraries and dependencies used in the compilation process. Can Trivy scan IAC, infrastructure as code, files?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can scan IAC files such as Kubernetes YAML, Terraform, and Docker Compose files for security issues and misconfigurations. What is the purpose of the severity flag in Trivy?
3, 2, 1, 0.
The severity flag allows you to filter scan results by severity levels, e.g., critical, high, making it easier to focus on urgent vulnerabilities. Can Trivy scan binaries for multiple architectures?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy supports scanning of binaries built for different architectures such as x86 and ARM, ensuring broad compatibility. Can you use Trivy for scanning images hosted on private registries?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy supports scanning images from private Docker registries by authenticating with the registry credentials. How does Trivy handle vulnerabilities in multi-arch container images?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy can scan multi-arch container images by selecting the architecture-specific image layers, ensuring vulnerability detection across all supported architectures. Can Trivy scan Helm charts for vulnerabilities or misconfigurations?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can scan Helm charts by analyzing the Kubernetes manifests and identifying potential misconfigurations or security risks. How does Trivy work with GitHub Actions?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy integrates seamlessly with GitHub Actions, enabling automatic vulnerability and misconfiguration scanning in pull requests and CI/CD pipelines. Can Trivy detect supply chain attacks?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy helps detect supply chain attacks by identifying vulnerabilities and misconfigurations in dependencies, containers, and IAC files. How does Trivy identify vulnerabilities in Alpine Linux?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy checks Alpine Linux images by referring to the Alpine Security Database, which is regularly updated to detect vulnerabilities in Alpine packages. Can Trivy scan for vulnerabilities in legacy applications?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can scan legacy applications by analyzing their dependencies, container images, or even their file systems for known vulnerabilities. How does Trivy handle false positives in vulnerability scanning?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy allows users to suppress false positives by using the Ignore File option, specifying vulnerabilities to ignore during scans. What role does Trivy play in securing CI/CD pipelines?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy helps secure CI/CD pipelines by performing automated scans for vulnerabilities and misconfigurations at each stage of the pipeline. How often is the Trivy vulnerability database updated?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy updates its vulnerability database multiple times a day from various trusted sources like NVD, Red Hat, and GitHub. How does Trivy handle scanning Go modules?
3, 2, 1,
scans Go modules by analyzing the go.sum file and identifying vulnerabilities in the packages listed in the dependency tree. Can Trivy be used to scan Kubernetes CRDs, custom resource definitions?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can scan CRDs by examining the configurations and YAML files associated with these Kubernetes resources for potential misconfigurations. How does Trivy integrate with HashiCorp Vault?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy can integrate with HashiCorp Vault to securely store and manage credentials needed for scanning private repositories and registries. Can Trivy scan serverless applications?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy can scan serverless applications indirectly by scanning their container images, packages, and IAC files to identify vulnerabilities. How does Trivy ensure scanning accuracy for third-party software components?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy uses databases from trusted sources such as NVD, Red Hat, and GitHub advisories to ensure accuracy in detecting vulnerabilities in third-party components. Can Trivy detect vulnerabilities in Java jar files?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can scan Java jar files by analyzing their dependencies and checking for vulnerabilities in Java libraries and frameworks. How does Trivy handle CVSS scores in its scan reports?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy reports vulnerabilities with CVSS scores, allowing users to prioritize based on the severity of the vulnerabilities, e.g., critical, high. Can Trivy scan Kubernetes secrets for sensitive information?
3, 2, 1, 0.
No. Trivy does not scan Kubernetes secrets directly for sensitive information but can detect hard-coded secrets in code and files. How does Trivy handle scanning for OWASP top 10 vulnerabilities?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy helps detect some OWASP top 10 vulnerabilities indirectly through its scans for misconfigurations, outdated dependencies, and known vulnerabilities. How does Trivy handle scanning of Python applications using Poetry?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy scans Python projects using Poetry by analyzing the Poetry lock file to detect vulnerabilities in the dependencies. Can Trivy scan container layers individually?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can scan each layer of a container image individually, identifying vulnerabilities that may be introduced at any stage of the image build process. How does Trivy integrate with Kubernetes admission controllers?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy can be integrated with Kubernetes admission controllers to enforce security policies by blocking the deployment of images with critical vulnerabilities. Can Trivy scan packages installed via APK in Alpine Linux images?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy scans APK packages installed in Alpine Linux images by pulling vulnerability data from the Alpine Security Database. How can Trivy scan Golang binaries with static linking?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy can scan Golang binaries with static linking by analyzing their dependency tree to detect vulnerabilities in linked packages. How does Trivy handle multiple vulnerability databases?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy uses its default vulnerability database but allows users to integrate additional custom databases if required. Can Trivy scan .NET applications for vulnerabilities?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can scan .NET applications by inspecting their NuGet packages and checking for vulnerabilities in the CS project or packages config files. How can Trivy be used to enforce image scanning in Docker Swarm environments?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy can be integrated into Docker Swarm environments by scanning images before they are deployed in Swarm services and blocking vulnerable images. How does Trivy handle scanning images that contain multi-stage builds?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy can scan the final image of multi-stage builds while focusing on the security of the resulting container layers, ensuring vulnerabilities from intermediate stages are not ignored. Can Trivy detect vulnerabilities in Maven-based Java projects?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy scans Maven-based Java projects by analyzing the pom.xml file and detecting vulnerabilities in the dependencies listed. How can Trivy help in scanning OpenShift container images?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy can scan OpenShift container images by connecting to OpenShift's container registry and performing vulnerability assessments of stored images. Can Trivy detect vulnerabilities in systemd services or configurations?
3, 2, 1, 0.
No. Trivy focuses on scanning packages, containers, and IAC files, but it does not directly scan systemd services or configurations. How does Trivy scan Golang dependencies that are bundled in a vendor directory?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy scans the vendor directory in Golang projects to detect vulnerabilities in the third-party libraries used by the application. Can Trivy scan applications built using Rust?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can scan Rust projects by inspecting the cargo lock file for vulnerabilities in the dependencies. Does Trivy offer scanning of build artifacts like WAR or JAR files?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can scan build artifacts such as WAR or JAR files by analyzing their embedded dependencies for vulnerabilities. How does Trivy help with scanning multi-cloud environments?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy can scan cloud-specific IAC templates, e.g., AWS CloudFormation, Azure Resource Manager, and container images used across different cloud platforms for vulnerabilities and misconfigurations. How does Trivy handle scanning for SNYK vulnerabilities?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy integrates with SNYK by allowing users to import SNYK's vulnerability database into Trivy to enhance scanning for SNYK-identified vulnerabilities. How can Trivy be configured to scan only high-severity vulnerabilities?
3, 2, 1, 0.
You can configure Trivy to scan for high-severity vulnerabilities by using the Severity High Critical option during scans. Does Trivy support scanning of Go binaries created with CGO?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can scan Go binaries created with CGO by analyzing the dependencies linked during the compilation process. Can Trivy detect unused dependencies in a project?
3, 2, 1, 0.
No. Trivy focuses on detecting vulnerabilities in dependencies but does not track whether dependencies are actively used or not. How does Trivy handle scanning large monolithic repositories?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy can be configured to scan specific directories or files in large monolithic repositories, improving scan performance and focusing on areas with dependencies. Can Trivy scan Red Hat Universal Base Image (UBI) containers?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can scan Red Hat UBI containers for vulnerabilities by using its built-in database with data from Red Hat's security advisories. Can Trivy scan for vulnerabilities in private Git repositories?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can scan private Git repositories by providing access tokens or SSH keys to authenticate during the scan. How does Trivy handle scanning Python virtual environments?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy can scan Python virtual environments by analyzing the dependencies listed in requirements.txt or pip file. Lock. Can Trivy scan images built with Docker Build Kit?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy supports scanning images built with Docker Build Kit, analyzing the image layers for vulnerabilities. How does Trivy handle vulnerabilities in compiled binaries?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy can scan compiled binaries by identifying their linked libraries and scanning those for vulnerabilities. Can Trivy scan images stored in Harbor Container Registry?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can be integrated with Harbor to automatically scan container images for vulnerabilities stored in the Harbor registry. How does Trivy detect outdated base images in Docker files?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy checks the base image specified in the Docker file and compares it with the latest version to notify if an outdated image is being used. Can Trivy scan for license violations in container images?
3, 2, 1, 0.
No. Trivy does not scan for license violations. It focuses on security vulnerabilities and misconfigurations. How does Trivy scan Helm charts for outdated dependencies?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy can scan Helm charts by identifying outdated dependencies in the charts chart, YAML and values, YAML files. Does Trivy support scanning for vulnerabilities in Ruby projects?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy supports scanning Ruby projects by analyzing the gem file, lock to detect vulnerabilities in Ruby gems. How can Trivy be configured to scan remote Kubernetes clusters?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy can be configured to scan remote Kubernetes clusters by connecting to the cluster's API and analyzing configurations and deployed resources. Can Trivy be used to scan for deprecated APIs in Kubernetes manifests?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can scan Kubernetes manifests and identify deprecated or insecure API versions being used in the cluster configuration. How does Trivy ensure consistency in scans across different environments?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy ensures consistency by using the same vulnerability database and scanning policies across different environments: local, CI, CD, cloud. Can Trivy scan container images that use multi-platform architectures like ARM and x86?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy supports scanning images for multi-platform architectures, ensuring all versions of the image are checked for vulnerabilities. Does Trivy support scanning of OS packages in Alpine and CentOS simultaneously?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy supports scanning of OS packages from multiple distributions like Alpine and CentOS within the same container. Can Trivy scan Docker Compose files for vulnerabilities?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy can scan Docker Compose files for misconfigurations and detect security risks in the way services are defined and configured. How can Trivy be used to scan large monolithic applications with multiple languages?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy can scan each part of a monolithic application by identifying the language-specific package managers, e.g., npm, pip, and scanning the associated lock files. Can Trivy scan for vulnerabilities in PHP projects?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can scan PHP projects by analyzing the composer lock file to detect vulnerabilities in the project's PHP packages. Does Trivy support scanning for vulnerabilities in Flatpak or Snap packages?
3, 2, 1, 0.
No. Trivy currently does not support scanning Flatpak or Snap packages. It focuses on traditional OS package managers and containers. How does Trivy help with shifting security left in DevOps?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy helps shift security left by integrating vulnerability scanning early in the development lifecycle, allowing developers to address issues before deployment. And how does Trivy detect vulnerabilities in Ansible playbooks?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy can scan Ansible playbooks for misconfigurations but does not directly scan for vulnerabilities in the playbook's dependencies. Can Trivy scan for vulnerabilities in compiled Java WAR files?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can scan compiled Java WAR files by extracting dependencies from the file and identifying vulnerabilities in those libraries. How does Trivy handle scanning multi-part Docker images built with Docker Compose?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy can scan each part of a multi-part Docker image defined in Docker Compose, ensuring vulnerabilities are detected in all services. Can Trivy scan for secrets embedded in Kubernetes manifests?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can detect hard-coded secrets such as API keys, passwords, or tokens embedded within Kubernetes manifests. How does Trivy ensure minimal impact on CI/CD performance?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy provides an option to cache scan results locally or remotely, reducing scan times in subsequent runs, which ensures minimal impact on CI/CD performance. Can Trivy be used for scanning Windows container images?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy supports scanning Windows container images by analyzing the installed packages for known vulnerabilities. How does Trivy handle scanning large container registries?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy can be integrated with large container registries, automatically scanning and reporting vulnerabilities for all stored images. Can Trivy scan for vulnerabilities in C++ or C libraries?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can indirectly scan C++ or C libraries when they are part of a package or binary, identifying vulnerabilities in the linked dependencies. How does Trivy handle scanning for vulnerabilities in OpenJDK images?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy can scan OpenJDK container images, detecting vulnerabilities in both the base image and Java dependencies installed on top of it. Can Trivy detect insecure permissions in container configurations?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can detect insecure permissions in container configurations as part of its misconfiguration scanning capabilities. How does Trivy handle scanning of environment variables for secrets?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy can scan environment variables in container images and IAC files for sensitive data such as hard-coded credentials or secrets. Can Trivy scan Jenkins pipelines for security risks?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can be integrated into Jenkins pipelines to automatically scan container images and IAC files as part of the CI/CD process. Does Trivy support scanning serverless functions deployed on AWS Lambda?
3, 2,
Yes. Trivy can scan the container images and deployment configurations of AWS Lambda functions, identifying vulnerabilities in serverless environments. How does Trivy identify vulnerabilities in the GoMod file?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy analyzes the go.mod file in Go projects, checking for vulnerabilities in the listed dependencies. Can Trivy scan for vulnerabilities in multi-tenant Kubernetes clusters?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can scan multi-tenant Kubernetes clusters by checking the security configurations of the namespaces and resources deployed by each tenant. How does Trivy handle scanning for vulnerabilities in YAML configurations?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy can scan YAML configurations in Kubernetes manifests, Helm charts, and Docker Compose files to identify security misconfigurations. Can Trivy scan for vulnerabilities in infrastructure managed with Terraform?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can scan Terraform files to detect misconfigurations and security risks in infrastructure as code. How does Trivy integrate with GitLab pipelines for continuous security scans?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy can be integrated with GitLab CI pipelines, enabling automatic vulnerability scans of container images and dependencies during each pipeline run. Does Trivy support scanning JavaScript projects managed with Yarn?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can scan JavaScript projects using Yarn by analyzing the Yarn lock file and detecting vulnerabilities in the dependencies. How does Trivy identify vulnerabilities in CentOS stream images?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Trivy scans CentOS stream images by accessing the CentOS vulnerability database to detect issues in packages installed in the image. Can Trivy detect insecure network configurations in Kubernetes clusters?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. Trivy can scan Kubernetes clusters for insecure network configurations, such as overly permissive network policies or open ports.